Today on ELN Morning.
Addressing addresses, why the university wants to have your local location on track.
Assistance from a distance, how student tutors are taking on a challenge during the pandemic.
Live show, virtual cast, how the actors and crew will take the stage far beyond the theater.
Today, October 1st, 2020.
This is ELN Morning. Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning on ELN Morning. I'm Baylor Rodman.
And I'm Rundle. New this morning, Director of Athletics Dave Blank says athletics is preparing to follow new coronavirus guidance after the Colonial Athletic Association provided a 6-game conference season starting March 6th. This comes nearly 2 weeks after a cluster of cases was identified within athletics. Under this new guidance, teams in the NCAA who have an outbreak of cases mid-season must be shut down.
It's been very difficult, as we've learned all the way back to June and July when we first started with this with athletes. It's really hard to disseminate through contact tracing how you can carry on your activity when you have a defined group. So I think that's the reason for the NCAA's caution there.
Once the Phoenix begin playing other teams, Blank says players will be tested 3 times per week. The Phoenix will only play CAA teams from the University of Delaware and South to avoid using planes for travel. Football is also allowed to play 2 non-conference games starting on January 23rd. The athletics department has yet to announce this finalized schedule, and football training is still suspended due to coronavirus concerns.
The Elon University Registrar is asking students to update their local address on Track. And while the Registrar's office says it's been dealing with incorrect addresses for years, our Maeve Ashbrook explains why the university wants to keep those records more accurate now than ever.
From hometown to cell phone number, University Registrar Rodney Parks has data on every Elon student, including what they report as their physical address during the academic year.
Imagine if we get a phone call in the middle of the night from a parent that can't get a hold of you, and you've listed Mars as your local address, and by the way, that's a real one that's in the system.
Parks, who is using student data to help the Ready and Resilient Committee with contact tracing, says the coronavirus pandemic has brought to light just how many local addresses are incorrect. For the first time, the Registrar's office is sending emails to students throughout the semester like this one, encouraging them to accurately update their local address. And Parks says the reason goes beyond safety and into student conduct. If someone is cited off campus by the Town of Elon Police Department, it's up to Chief Kelly Blackwelder to forward addresses to the university.
We are sending them daily. I have 2 tickets or citations to send over to the university this morning.
Parks says he enters the equation when those addresses are sent to him by Student Affairs.
If they give me an address and say this particular location, had a party, we would like to know, what students have the address listed for this location. Certainly, we'd be able to tell you every student that has that location listed.
Elon Senior Graham Hutchinson received one of the emails from the registrar. He did say he updated his address to the current one, but doesn't understand why students who live off campus should be required to give this information.
I can see why kids would be inclined to change their address to a fake address or something, because there's definitely a little bit of privacy aspect that comes in there. I understand why they're doing it.
Parks says he's not involved with student conduct violations directly, but if a student refuses to change to the correct address, he flags their name, making them unable to register for classes. Maeve Ashbrook, ELN Morning.
Students who live in university-assigned housing are automatically given a local address, but off-campus students have to input it directly into OnTrack. The address can be changed, though. Students can access and change it anytime by clicking on either the User Profile or Student Profile tab.
Prior to the start of the fall semester, Elon released protocols to outline how they would help support students in quarantine. Virtual mental health resources are available for these students as they transition into their new normal. Junior Isabella May is currently in quarantine and says she is starting to feel the social impacts of being isolated on a college campus.
It's definitely weird. It's definitely different. I kind of feel like they're not my life right now versus my life a week ago are not even comparable. I definitely feel very disconnected.
Receive a daily call from a staff member to check in and provide non-medical assistance. While May says she feels very supported by her staff point of contact, she still finds herself struggling to stay motivated when trying to complete classwork in her bedroom.
I'm not very good about focusing in my space. And like, I can't even go to the kitchen table and do my work, technically, you know, like, it's just really, really difficult. And you're expected to like perform at the same level, which really bothers me.
Counseling services continue to provide resources for these students, including a new mental well-being app called WellTrack and opportunities for a drop-in virtual consultation with a counselor. To schedule an appointment with Counseling Center, visit elon.edu/counseling.
As classes continue to use a hybrid model, so is one-on-one tutoring through the Department of Learning Assistance. Students looking for tutoring in one of nearly 50 classes now have the option to either meet in person or via Zoom. But even for those meeting in person, tutors and their tutees are required to maintain that 6-foot distance. Director of Learning Assistance James Holsinger says while tutoring has taken on a new look this semester, he hopes the new options allow more students to access their services.
I think it's a safe option provided that we're doing all the things that we know we need to do. If the tutors are making sure that things are working, that all the protocols are being followed, and if students are following those protocols, I do think it's safe.
For statistics tutor Sarah Austin, she's grateful for screen sharing via Zoom and having the option of meeting with tutees in person.
I was uncomfortable with coming in person. I could totally tell my boss that I would prefer to take all of my appointments virtually, but I've felt pretty safe the way we've been doing things in the library so far. So for me right now, it's really up to what the student wants.
And for anyone interested in signing up for tutoring, you can visit elon.edu/tutoring. And coming up, learn more about the Democratic candidates for the Alamance County Commissioners. If you're registered to vote here in Alamance County, you'll have the opportunity to vote for up to 3 of the 6 candidates for County Commissioner shown right here. On Monday, we broke down the 3 Republican candidates running for County Commissioner. But right now, let's focus on the 3 candidates running as Democrats and their position on reopening North Carolina. So first, there's Bob Byrd. He was a commissioner from 2014 to 2018. Byrd was a healthcare executive at Alamance Regional Medical Center and worked in the healthcare industry for 35 years. In order to reopen safely, he says Alamance County needs to listen to the medical professionals.
I believe in following the science. I think it's terrible how politicized this particular issue has gotten. I mean, I understand how important the economy is, and I know a lot of people's jobs are at stake.
Next is Alamance County native Dreama Caldwell. Like Byrd, Caldwell says to follow the science. After spending 25 years working as a daycare manager in the service industry, she appreciates Governor Cooper's work to reopen the economy.
You know, and I think that I like that that Governor Cooper allowed us to open a little bit, you know, some, you know, so that, and the truth is that business was just hard anyway. People were staying at home whether things were open or not.
And lastly, we have Kristen Powers. Powers ran for county commissioner in 2018 and lost to the incumbent. Powers is the co-founder of the Alamance County Bail Fund and is the interim director of Benevolence Farms, a program helping incarcerated women. In terms of reopening, Powers says that she would have liked to see more financial help to small businesses.
One thing we could have done, and I think there is still opportunity to do it, I don't think it's too late, but make those direct payments or make supports for the types of businesses that were most disproportionately impacted at no fault of their own.
Early voting in North Carolina starts on October 15th, and to find out more information on the Alamance County Commissioner election, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com, and click the Politics tab.
Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett is back on Capitol Hill today, meeting with senators ahead of her confirmation hearing. Assistant Professor of Political Science Alicia Savchuk-Trogdon says even with 33 days to go into Election Day, if there's a will, there's a way to get Barrett confirmed. Savchuk-Trogdon says that while the Supreme Court is an issue that spurred Republicans to the polls before, she thinks this vacancy will have a galvanizing effect for both parties this November.
Having her confirmed to the court before the election is controversial on its own, but if President Trump is not reelected and then he still tries to ram through a nomination in a lame duck period, that would be very unsettling. And honestly, I'd be surprised if Amy Coney Barrett would be up for that herself. She would be clouded, and her position would be clouded in political scandal for the rest of her life.
Judge Barrett's confirmation hearing within the Senate Judiciary Committee is scheduled to begin on October 12th.
And live now into Trump Plaza with our Phoenix 5 Days, Ashlyn DeLoughy. Ashlyn, good morning to you. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Caitlin and Baylor. We have a beautiful day ahead of us here with clear sunny skies and the temperature reaching a high of 78. Later into the evening, we'll start to see some clouds move into the sky and the temperature will drop to a low of 54. Now moving right along, let's take a look at our Phoenix 5-day forecast. We have a beautiful weekend ahead of us with temperature averaging in the high 60s and low 40s. On Monday and Tuesday is going to warm back up again with the temperature averaging at a high of 70 on Monday and a high of 73 on Tuesday. It is slowly starting to feel like fall here at ELN, with those temperatures getting much cooler at night. Caitlin and Baylor, back to you.
All right, Ashlyn DeLoughy live onto Trump Plaza. Ashlyn, thank you.
After the break, how performing arts students will safely open their show tonight. Tonight is the opening night of the fall play Pheromone and Awkward Olfactory Inquiry. It will be performed live each day from different rooms across campus for an online audience, and the Performing Arts Department has recruited some extra help to make opening night run more smoothly. This time of year, ELN junior Chris Morrison usually finds himself filming on the sidelines, but after the suspension of fall sports, he's found himself in a new position, the video manager for the fall play. Morrison will be doing his job from an office upstairs in McEwen, while the play will be in the Center for the Arts, which has never been done before.
It's definitely going to open up a lot of opportunities for as long as we're online. This is kind of a trial run for the School of Comm, testing out this vMix software. And if it works out well enough, the hope is that it can be utilized by different organizations.
The play runs through Tuesday night, and tickets are free but must be reserved online at elonperformingarts.com.
And that's all the news we have for you today. Thanks so much for joining us.
For all the news you need to know when we're not on the air, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com, and follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Stay safe and healthy, and have a great week, Elon.